Okay, so today's hands-on activity looks like it's the last thing before we get to test our knowledge for VLOOKUP. So it's a hands-on activity on performing VLOOKUP. And we're going to follow through. It says it's an hour long for this practice assignment. And we're just going to work through it, see what we got. VLOOKUP practice sheet. Alright. Alright, prepare the data. Sheet 1 of VLOOKUP practice sheet contains a timesheet of hours worked by several employees. However, this data has not been cleaned. You'll create a clean version of the table in sheet 1 so you can manipulate the data without changing the data from the original table. Okay. Then you'll combine the data from two sheets in VLOOKUP practice sheet spreadsheet, sheet 1 and sheet 2 using VLOOKUP function. Step 3, working with the data gets messy quickly, and it's important to keep track of what your column means. First, add labels to the column in your new table to help keep your data organized. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So we got sheet 1 and sheet 2. So first task is you'll create a clean version of the table in sheet 1 so you can manipulate the data without changing the data from the original table. Okay, actually we're going to go to first add labels to the columns in your new tables to keep them data organized. So add the following labels to sheet 1. So in B14, enter names. Sheet 1, B14. See in cell C14 through H14, enter the following dates. So C14 through H14. C14 through H14. And of course, that didn't work. Two. 3. 4. 5. And the 6th one. So I14, enter hours. 14. And J14, enter pay rate. K14, total pay. Okay, it looks like everything's in. Some of the employee names in column B have extra spaces. Use the following steps to remove extra spaces. So trim in cell B15 and trim cell B2. And B15 equals trim. We're going to be trimming B2. Take away the extra spaces. Alright, that looks good. Select and drag the fill handle to B19. Populate the names and moves the spaces. Alright. Populate the daily employee hours. Next, move employee hours to your new table with the cleaned employee names. Perform the following steps to populate the daily hours for employees. In cell C15, type value C2. In C15, value C2. And just to look up what does value. Value converts a string in any of the date, time, or number formats that Google Sheets understands into a number. Okay, so we're going from a string to a number. So if it's identifying it as a string, it's converting it into a number. So C2. Okay, so if it was, for example, if it was left justified, if the number was on the left side, it would be seen or identified as text and not an actual number. And the value function is making sure that it is indeed an actual number. And we're just going to say auto populate. So I think that's what they're trying to do, to make sure that the number is really formatted and seen as a number. Okay. Select the fill handle to populate all the way to C19. Okay, we got it. So your new table should contain the following data in rows 15 through 19 in column C. So in column C, 8, 8.5, 7.5, 8, 8.5, 7.5, 8, and 6. All right, that looks good. Use the populated cells from C15 through C19 to populate the remaining hours needed for each employee. Select and drag the fill handle for C15 to cell H15. This populates the remaining hours for Daniel Chan. You can see the values 8, 8.5, 8, 8, 8.5, 7, 5, and 2.5 in cells C15 through H15. Okay, let's try that. Through H15. Okay, H2. Okay, so simple, same thing. It's applying the same value function to make sure that the number being extracted is being transformed, or actually being changed into a number. So they all look correct. 8.5, 7, 7, 5, 5, 2.5. Okay, so that one was easy, straightforward as well. So it's saying that we do it for the rest of the employees as well. So let's select. Okay, and it should represent the same thing going across from each employee, and it looks like it does. 7, 8, 8, 9, 5.5, 7.5, 6.5, 10, 8, 7, 5. Fisher has 8, 8, 8, 8, 7, 7, 4. Patel has 6, 5, 5, 5.5, 6, 2. Okay, all right. Can move along. Next, sum the total hours for each employee. So in cell I15, sum C15 through H15. In cell I15, we're summing C through H15. I15 equals sum. Oh, there you go. It automatically populated it for me. Fantastic. Okay, so we should be able to drag the fill handle down, and it should give me the exact same thing, C16 through H16. So it gives me 8.5 C16 through H16. There's your sum. Line 16, it's 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Okay. So verify. It says 39, 46, 44, 42, and 29.5. Okay, spot on. Next is import pay rate data. You keep track of your employee's hourly pay rate in sheet 2 of the VLOOKUP practice. This sheet also includes employee ID, date of hire, and employee status. Use VLOOKUP to import pay rate data from sheet 2 into sheet 1. Okay, this sounds exciting. Finally getting into it. So in J15 on sheet 1, we're going to enter VLOOKUP A2 and J15, right? J15 in sheet 1. So in sheet 1, we're going to go to J15, and looks like we're going to do VLOOKUP, and what was it? Consider the syntax of lookup. A2 refers to cell A2 in sheet 1. Okay, let's look at it. Yeah, A2. So it looks like that's employee ID. That's gonna be our search key. So A2. So comma and okay. So yeah. So on sheet 2, our search key, for example, A2 is G001, which corresponds to Daniel Chan. That ID, our search key is G001, is on sheet 2, so that works. Yeah. Trying to see what's the information that we're pulling. So we look up to import pay rate data. Sheet 2, A2 through D6, and we're pulling column 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're pulling the pay rate. So in here in G15, we should be pulling for G001, which is Daniel Chan, this fourth column, 100.5. But we need to finish the actual function. So the range is going to be from, I believe it said A2 through D6, okay? And it's going to be a locked range, so A2 through D6. And because we want it locked range, we're going to put the $ signs as well on that. So now we have our array where we're going to be looking for, and then index, which was going to be the fourth column, right? So, and we want it to return exactly, so it's going to be false. And then we're going to close it up, and then we're going to punch it in. And there we go. VLOOKUP 100.5, and Ali Dana is corresponding to G002. So if we look at Ali Dana G002, her pay rate should come out to 75 if we drag this fill handle down. And there we go. Because we have it locked on the same sheet, we're fine. And let's verify for Sanchez Alexis is G003, and he should come out with 150. And that works. Fisher is G004, and Patel is 05. So it should be 65 and 3,000. So let's take a look. Let's drop it down. 65 and 3,000. So all right. So it populated everything perfectly. So we have the VLOOKUP pulling information. Okay. false. And just to verify, it says 100, 75, 150, 65, and 3000. Okay, so we're on track. Okay, next is K15. To calculate total pay. Okay. K15 equals product I15. Let's see, there's I15 and J15. And then product is, it's right there, simple, returns the results of multiplying a series of numbers together. So pretty straightforward, just hours times pay rate. So I15 is the number of hours that Daniel Chan worked, and his pay rate is 100.5. So, okay, so that's J15. J15, close it, and we're just gonna accept the autofill. And it's 39, 19.5, 19.5, just to verify. 3450, 600, 2730, 88500. All right, we're on track still. Next is create a pivot table. Now that the data is clean and includes the pay rate information, you can create a pivot table. This makes it easier to quickly identify trends and patterns to generate reports without having to search the raw data. Let's keep going. Let's create a table for data in cells B14 through K19. What's B14? B14 through K19. Ah, okay, so our newly generated table. That's what we're going to be doing. Insert. Select insert from the menu and select pivot table. So select B14 through K19. Already got it selected, and then it says select insert from the menu. So select insert from the menu. And I believe it said pivot tables. Yeah, pivot tables. So insert pivot tables and new sheet, then select create. New sheet, create. All right. A new tab titled pivot table 1 will appear between sheets 1 and sheet 2. Oh, that's pretty cool. A pivot table editor will pop up on screen. Use this editor to create a pivot table that contains each employee name, pay rate, and total pay. Select add for rows. Select add for rows, then select names from the drop-down option. Select add for rows. So right here, add, select names. Okay. Select add for values, then select pay rate. So for values, click add, and click pay rate. Okay. Add for values again, then total pay. So add for values again, and we're gonna add total pay. Select B2 through C6. Then select the dollar symbol from the toolbar to reformat the cells as currency. Ah, I see. There you go. B2 through C6 and the dollar sign to format it as currency. Okay. Rows 1 through 7, A, B, and C, and the pivot table should contain the following information. Okay, it looks like it's matching up. 75 at 3450, 100 at 3919, 65, 2730, 8000, 885, and 150 at 6600, and then finally a grand total of 3390. Although set C6, and I don't know about C7. It says grand total. I think I'm going to change these also to currency as well. Your table should have the following values. MO2, yes, verified. And total combined pay rate of $33.90. Total combined pay of $105,000. $33.90, $105,000, $99.50. Okay. Congratulations, you have now cleaned and labeled your data. Use VLOOKUP to import data. Okay. And we created a pivot table. Be sure to copy the spreadsheet template you used to complete this activity. Reflection 1 of your employees, Alex Sanchez, asks you to confirm their hourly rate, assuming you have access to sheet 1 and 2 in the VLOOKUP practice sheet, but not the pivot table. Which VLOOKUP function would return Alexis's hourly pay rate? So we're looking up Alexis's hourly pay rate. I don't have access to pivot table. So Alexis Sanchez, he's G03. So it'll be VLOOKUP G03 on sheet 2. All right. Okay. Okay. But we do have access to this. That's why it's giving me the option. B. Alexis is B17. Right. 17. G19. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pay rate. So it's going to be in column 9. Alexis B15 through J19. B15 through J19. Oh, that's what it is. The colon versus a dash. Cleaning and data makes it easier to reference and actually use the lookup. What are some other ways that you might use VLOOKUP with the data in this table? What other ways would I use VLOOKUP with the data in the table? Let's see. We have dates, total pay. I don't know what other information I would like to. Date of hire. Let's take a look. How many hours they're working? Or who is full-time? Like, maybe that's probably more important. Who's full-time versus part-time? How much are they paying? How much are they getting paid? full-time contractor, pay rate. So I probably just put it here. Lookup A2, comma, range. Comma, index. I think it was number 4. Comma, false, comma. Oh, it was number 3 because I want to know if they're full-time or part-time. Yeah, that's what I would use for insight. See, at full-time Alexis Sanchez versus full-time Patel Anika. See that the pay rate is incredibly higher, so that would give us insight and let us know that we can probably either get another contractor or maybe hire somebody else at full time, or see if we can get Patel to accept a lower pay rate. That'd have to be a pay cut. So what are some other ways that you might use VLOOKUP with the data on this table? I would use VLOOKUP to help me compare employee pay rates and possibly hire or let go of individuals. In order to save money on business employee costs.